Let's look at final exam question number 57, found on page 244 of Everyday Math Demystified, 2nd edition. We're talking about a vertical bar graph, and we want to know what the vertical heights of the bars depend on. Well, in a vertical bar graph, generally speaking, the independent variable runs along the horizontal axis, as is usually the case in a graph of any kind. Once in a while you'll find the independent variable on the vertical axis, but as a rule, usually not. You'll usually find it going out along the horizontal axis, and the dependent variable goes along the vertical axis. In the example of the previous question, the independent variable was time, and the dependent variable was the price of a stock. And we had a point-to-point graph. Well, in a vertical bar graph, we don't use points and straight lines. Instead, we use bars. Usually, they are all of the same width. They don't have to be, but in most cases that's the way you'll see them. So you might see a vertical bar graph that looks like this. Sometimes they will shade alternate bars to make them a little bit easier to distinguish from one another. If you want to get really fancy, you can shade them with different colors. I think you get the picture of what I'm aiming at here, but I want to finish this so that you can see just in all of its artistic glory what a vertical bar graph would look like. Well, the question asks us, what do the heights of these bars depend on? What does the height of each bar depend on? Well, the answer to that question is the value of the dependent variable. Like this, like this, like this, like this, and so on and so on. In each case, the height of the bar corresponds to a specific point along the dependent variable axis, which would represent a value of the dependent variable. So that particular situation is reflected by choice B.